Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a highlighting and contouring video using powder products. When I say using powder products, I mean we are not going in with the full shebang, aka the Kim Kardashian look. We are just going to do kind of what I would consider an everyday highlighting and contouring. I'm sure for most people this is far and away from something that they would consider doing on a daily basis, but this is just to me kind of a simpler version of highlighting and contouring. I feel like anyone can do it. All you need is a few products and a few brushes. I will go over a little bit of what you need throughout the course of the video. You'll have to forgive me if it feels a little bit rushed, or if maybe things aren't quite perfect in it. I am literally on the way out for a makeup application on a client, and I just wanted to make sure that I had something to go up because I love and miss you guys, and I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of my uploads as I promised I would do. It's very, very easy, takes a little bit of practice, but if you get it down, it will completely transform your makeup life. Highlighting and contouring is such a popular technique. It's not new, it's just going crazy. I think Instagram and YouTube and all that kind of stuff has just made it such a well-known technique. Like I'm talking girls that I have that write me for client work who don't even wear makeup, who don't even own makeup, know what highlighting and contouring is, and they want it. It is a force to be reckoned with, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Hopefully it's simple. Hopefully I wasn't too scattered all over the place with information, but watch as many times as you need to get it down, and I'm sure in no time you will be your own personal makeup artist. I love you guys more than you will ever know. Have an amazing day, and let's get right into the video. You're gonna see like a whole different situation. Like, just get ready for it. It's intense. I love you guys. Bye. Enjoy. Looking at myself in the viewfinder right now, and I look totally crazy. All I have on right now is I did my eye makeup because it's not pertinent for this video. I have my foundation on. Today I used MAC Studio Fix Fluid and I mixed it with Dior Capture Totale. Before I do my foundation, it never ever fails. I always color correct my under eye area, and my color corrector of choice on myself is Erase Paste and number 2. There's literally no point whatsoever in you going through the process of highlighting your under eye area if you're not going to cancel out any blue or purple undertones that you may have underneath the skin. Once you put like a pink on top of that or a yellow on top of that, depending on your skin tone to highlight, it's really just gonna go like gray. It's not gonna brighten, it's just gonna change the tone of darkness underneath the eye. Side note, please excuse my neighbors. They're super loud and inconsiderate, so you might hear them bebopping around throughout this whole video, but I apologize. And we're highlighting and contouring. When you're highlighting something, you're making it more of a focal point. You're making it look bigger in a lot of ways. You're making it look more pronounced. You think about like when you're studying and you have a highlighter and you highlight something that you want to remember, what you're basically doing is making that word, that phrase, whatever in your textbook a focal point for the eye to go to, and that is the same thing with the face. So we're not going to highlight any areas of our face that we don't want more attention brought to than other parts. Contouring is basically just creating a contrast of that highlighted area. Your contour is going to slim an area of your face. It's going to define an area of your face. It's going to bring a little bit of a definition, a sharpness. So do my under eye concealer and set it, and then I'm going to do my under eye makeup, and then I'll come back and show you the rest. Because I really like MAC's Pro Longwear. I've been using it forever. I use it on myself. I use it on my clients. This is in shade NW20. I have a few other shades here in my makeup collection, my personal collection, that I will use depending upon how tan I am. And that is something else you need to keep in mind. Your highlighting and contouring routine is probably going to change seasonally. So if you were using a really pale, like the palest of pale under eye concealer in winter, that's probably not going to look super good in July when you just got back from Saint-Tropez and your tan as tan can be. So you need to adjust accordingly. That's just something else to keep in mind. So I just put like a little bit on the back of my hand. Beep. I like to apply my concealer with a beauty blender. You can use a brush. Sigma makes some really great precision brushes. Any of their brushes in their synthetic kabuki collection are nice. You can use your fingers, but I just prefer the Beauty Blender method because I've been doing it for so long and I really, really like how easy and fast it is. So I'm just going to take some on my Beauty Blender. I'm going to be looking in the viewfinder and in my little hand mirror, so bear with me. We're just going to start at the corner of our eye and we're going to start patting this in an in and out motion. And the reason you're going to do that is because if you have any under eye like lines underneath your eye, if you go in and just move the concealer in one motion, that's where it's going to stay. You need to kind of get in and out of them little crevices in order to eliminate the possibility of creasing. So we're going to take this and we're just going to work it all the way up past our cheekbone to our temple, right where our eyebrow is. So we're going all the way up, and then I like to bring it down just a little bit right here, and I'm just going to push and push. I'm just going to go in and out, in and out, in and out, patting, 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 moving in and out. Now this area right here by your nose, really recommend getting some concealer in there because normally your concealer and your foundation have a hard time reaching this part of your eye, especially if you've already done your eye makeup before you do your concealer. So what I do is I just take this tip and I kind of just like work it in the side of my nose by my eye up to the inner part of my eyebrow. Don't you guys love this face? In case you're like, why are you taking it all the way to your ear and why all the way down here? Because I want this area, like right here, to be bright. I want this to be the focus. That is why I'm highlighting. I feel like my under eye you can still see like a little bit of some bags underneath my eye. So I'm going to further highlight underneath my eye area. And for that you need a brightening concealer. I'm going to use a pink tone underneath my eyes because I'm not an olive complected person. So if I were to go in with a yellow right now at the color that I am, it's gonna look like I have yellow underneath my eyes. Yellow underneath the eyes, unless you're a certain complexion, can look very unnatural as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes when I'm really tan, I can pull off yellow under the eyes, but today is not the case. So today I'm going to use MAC Radiant Rose because it's a little bit less expensive and it's such a, it's an oldie but a goodie. I'm going to take that and I'm going to work it like this. Run it underneath, almost on top of where I laid down that other concealer. So I'm taking it all the way to the temple, all the way down. So once again, we're just gonna go in, move in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Take it all the way up to our temple. Take it down our little cheekies and just keep blending. Now you can see like how all this area right here is super duper bright as opposed to the rest of my face. Here I have an ambient lighting powder from Hourglass. It is in the color Diffused Light. You guys have seen me use this probably a million times by now. It is rather pricey, but I'm obsessed with it. I think it's a beautiful powder to set the under eye concealer. If you don't want to do that, you can always go in with a regular face powder that's lighter than your face. Say you go to the drugstore or you go to MAC or whatever and your face powder is like the color medium, go with the lightest color from that part that you could get away with. Okay, so this works really, really well for me, and if I don't use this, then I will go in with, this is my MAC blush palette, but for my personal use. This is Emphasize and Accentuate. That could be in the wrong order, but it's definitely one or the other. This one is a little bit more pink. This one is basically stark white. Depending on what color I am, I might mix the two. I might just use this one, or I'll use just this one. So anything that's a lighter color than the rest of your face is what you want to use to set your under eye concealer. There's absolutely no point in laying down all these brighter concealers underneath your eye and then going in with the face powder that you're going to powder your whole face with and just covering it up. It's pointless. So I'm just going to use my Hourglass today. I'm going to take a tapered brush. This one is from Real Techniques. It's their contour brush if I don't use this one. Or I will take the Sigma F35. Either one is amazing. I've been using the Sigma one for like since Nam. This one's just the first one I picked up, so that's why I'm using it. No rhyme or reason behind it. I'm just gonna load up my brush with it. And for me, I'm a very oily person. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you if you're oily, don't use a lot, just barely touch the product and just lightly. No, I have to kind of go in and like set this, like seal the deal. But be mindful. Just going to, I look so funny. I'm going to press, run down, and then kind of rub it. So I'm pressing, I'm getting it up there. I'm getting it up into my nose there. Sorry, I'm getting it up into my nose. And I'm gonna get it in here. You make this face, not only will you look totally ridiculous, but it will kind of bring this skin a little bit more taut, which makes getting in there and setting it around your fine lines, should you have any underneath your lash line, a little bit easier. You should always be setting your concealer. I don't care how dry you are, and I don't care how much the product promises not to crease. You're gonna make facial expressions, and that's going to cause a little bit of creasing. Okay, so that is all I do for my under eye area. I'm gonna stop this video, do my bottom makeup, like my eyeliner and my eyeshadow, my mascara, and then I'll turn the video back on and we'll finish. Be right back. Oh my gosh, I almost look like a real life person. Okay, so I'm going to set the rest of my face. I'm going to take a powder that is the same color as my skin. So we don't want this powder to go anywhere near where we've highlighted. No, 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 no. I'm just going to take that on a brush. Today I'm using the Real Techniques buffing brush. I really like this for my powder lately. So I'm just going to put this on my face, but not where that highlighting powder is. It along the hairline. Notice that I'm not coming over where I lay down that. At least not yet. I'll take my bronzer there, but not my face powder. And I'm just taking it all over the areas of my face that I feel needed. Which is the whole thing, because I'm a greasy person. Oh, that sounded weird. I'm an oily person. Have that down. Now that we have our face powder on, we're gonna bronze. This is where things can get a little dicey, I think, with people, because the most important step in this process of bronzing is gonna be finding the bronzer that works for you. My face looks so flat. It's so funny. I never look at myself between makeup stages this long. So I would say a general rule of thumb, something you can always do, is take your face powder. So for example, I used this one today. And you could go and buy a face powder 2 to 3, maybe 4 shades darker. And that could be your bronzer. There's no reason that it can't work. I have typically 2 bronzers I work with when I'm doing my face, and we'll get more into that in a second. But I like one to be a little bit lighter and one a little bit darker. So for my lighter bronzer, I would go maybe 3 shades darker than my face powder. And for my darker one, I'd go 4 to 5. Alright, if you don't want to do that, if you want to buy an actual bronzer, my favorite one for fair skins is Hoola by Benefit. I actually turned my friend Meredith onto this. Hi Meredith! She has really fair, beautiful skin, but she's very, very fair. And she was telling me, like, I cannot make bronzer work for me. I just can't make it work, can't make it work. I did her makeup one day, put this on her, and she still writes me and tells me that she's so happy and thank you for it. So you're welcome, girl. But yeah, this always is a very deceiving bronzer to some people because it looks wicked light in the pan. I don't know why. Everyone always says that. It does look very light, but it is the most perfectly universal bronzer I think you can get your hands on. If you don't know what you're doing, if it's your first bronzer, just get this one and uncomplicate things for yourself. I take this Delum Tools 945 brush. Always grab this one. It is the 945, and I like it because I like how it fits. I have like a really small forehead, and this side of my face is pretty small, and it fits really nicely in those areas. Today I'm going to use the Smashbox Suntan Matte. This is actually my first time using it, so I hope I like it. We'll see. If I don't like it, I'll switch it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bronzer. This is my light bronzer. There's a big difference between bronzing and contouring. Bronzing, you are basically adding warmth and color to the face, kind of livening it up. We contour, we're creating structure and definition. So you could do one or the other, but I do both only because I feel like when I blend the different tones of bronzer together, it creates a more realistic appearance on my skin. Does that make sense? I'll swirl it in, tap tap. We're gonna see how this goes because I've never used it before, like I said. Then I'm just gonna take it, and wherever you lay, I've said this before during eyeshadow tutorials, wherever you want the most, I need to calm down, wherever you want the most pigment, wherever you want the darkest amount of product to be, that's where you need to lay your brush. So let's say you're starting to bronze your face and you want to kind of bronze the sides of your cheeks. You're not going to start here because you're going to have like a blob, and then it's really going to be an issue to blend it out. So what I do is I start on the backs of my face and I just kind of work it here. I take it like into my hairline because there's nothing worse than that separation of hair and skin, and this just kind of defeats, like stops that. So I'm looking in my viewfinder and I'm looking in my mirror. I'm sorry if I make a weird face while I'm doing this. So I just kind of start really buffing it right here in my temple. I'm really concentrating this color right here. I'm gonna do a little bit more than I normally would do, I guess, because that way it'll definitely show up on camera. So if you're kind of like, whoa girl, calm down with that bronzer, I'll go in and I'll start working this on my forehead. I don't really have a big forehead at all, like I said. This is more just to add color and make all of this bronzing and contouring very uniform. I also like to bronze right here, my jawline. Anyway, yeah, see, here's my jawbone right here. I'm gonna bronze there as well. So I'm just taking it right, I'm taking the brush like right along the bone. I'm not going up here and I'm not going down here. And if you'll notice, that just gives, once again, that definition. Once I have that down, I will take this bad boy, who I cannot live without. He is my Sedona Lace FB1 brush, and I always take it and I blend all this stuff in. To do that, I'll go in with my Delum Tools 960. Can't live without this guy either. So then I take the 960 and I'm gonna start my contour. I'm really not gonna take it very far. Cheekbones are right here. I don't like to take my contour all the way up to where my cheekbones are because I feel like that leaves so much space right here. On me, I don't like it. So I kind of take it through my ear. I bring it, like I touch my brush with my ear and I just draw a line very softly. I stop it right here. I would say probably right where like the meat of my cheek starts. That's where I stop it. So once I have that down, we're gonna look at the comparison. I'm going to buff it out. Buff, buff, buff. Buff, buff, buff. I sit here with my fan brush and blend this out for a good minute. But when you look straight on at me, you can see it right here on the side of my cheek, but you can't see it coming in too far. So then I'll take something like this. You guys see me do it before. This is a 224 from MAC. You can use the E40 from Sigma as well. They are the exact same brush and both are equally as wonderful. And I'll take a darker bronzer. Now, what I was doing for like the low when I want to intensify my bronzer, I will use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, and it's really not crazy lots darker than this one. I just feel like this one is a little bit more of an ashier tone, and in real life, if a shadow hit your face, it's not gonna look red, it's not gonna look orange, it's gonna look gray, like a shadow. It's just gonna look like an area of your face where there is a concave section, if that makes sense. With the application of taking it on a really small tapered brush like this, of course, dust off the, look how much came off, that's crazy. I will take it and I will just kind of line it up with the line I already have, and I will draw in another line. But I don't take this nearly as far as this one went. This one stops right here. So if you look before I blend it out, there's this line, this smaller one at the bottom, and on top we have a little bit of a lighter one. And that's it. That's how I contour my cheeks. And then I take my fan brush and I blend the bejesus out of it again for like a minute. Go into my foundation brush, not my powder brush, my foundation brush, because I feel like when it has just a little bit of foundation still on it and it's a little bit sticky and emollient, it kind of creates like a magic eraser effect. And I will just run it like right underneath that to create a clear defined separation between the two. And that's one cheek done. I'm gonna do the other. Now I'm gonna contour my nose. So I'm gonna take my highlighting powder that I used underneath my eye and I'm gonna run it down my nose just to kind of create a little bit of a highlight for the center of it. So for my nose, I usually go in with the lighter of the bronzers that I used, and sometimes Actually, if I'm being completely honest, I will take my Hoola bronzer because it's the lightest one that I own. You could even use an eyeshadow for this if you wanted to. You could use something like Wedge from MAC and that would work really well too. So I'm just taking this brush. I've been using a lot of Real Technique brushes today. This is a shading brush, and what I like about this one is it's very stiff, but it's very narrow. So it's gonna fit along my nose really nicely. So I'm just taking a little bit of it. Don't be crazy heavy-handed with this because, like I said, bad nose contour is like the second worst thing in the world. Some people take this into their eyebrow. I personally hate that. I don't know why you want you to look like your eyebrows coming all the way down your face. So I kind of start lining it up with where my eyeshadow is. So I have this dark color kind of in my crease. I'm not going to let them meet necessarily, but that's where I'll start my shading. I don't take it all the way up. So I'm trying really hard to stay in frame while I do this because I have to see this up close to make it work. I'm just going to lightly touch this along the side of my nose. Everyone wants to text me right now. I don't know why I'm so popular. It's okay if this looks a little dark for your liking. We're going to blend it out. Just make sure that it's straight. So you can see how much straighter it looks on that side now. You don't even have to do this part. I literally only do it because to me, being a makeup artist and I'm such a perfectionist with stuff, I want everything to look balanced. And when all the other parts of my face are contoured and bronzed and my nose is just like, I don't like that. So I'm also going to take some of it down here on the underside of my nose, and that's because I feel like that's also a part of my nose I don't like. I want it to look slim and straight, and this little like nub at the end is what I don't like about it. So I just, you guys, I can't stress enough, you don't have to do this every time you put your makeup on, because I don't. I only do this when I'm filming a video or when I do my makeup, because I just don't do it halfway. I'm gonna do it all. Just in case there's people at home like, oh my gosh, girl, really? Really? You gotta contour your nose? It's that serious? It is not serious. I don't play. And what I'll do is I'll go back in with the 224 or an E40. I keep using my 224s because I lost one of my E40s and the other one I used for my eyeshadow, so I don't want to put that on my nose. Make sure it's clean. Make sure you can use any brush you want. It just needs to be fluffy. We're gonna take our brush and we're just gonna really work that along the side of our nose. Take your time here. Don't rush it. It needs to look like your nose is smaller, but it's not. See, even right now, that's too much. You can see this line. It's very clear. You can see it. You don't want that. So you just need to keep working with it. I'll go back in with that highlighting powder and I'll run it along the side of my nose just to kind of create a contrast. And I'll even take my powder brush and I'll run it over my nose to kind of blend all the colors together on the sides. For blush today, I'm gonna go with Use Lover from Illamasqua because I love it. And I'm going to take the Sigma F10 brush for blush today. I'm literally just gonna doop doop doop. I don't smile necessarily. I mean, I guess you could. I don't want this color to start here on the ball of my cheek. There's no point in making all this try to look as sharp and crisp as possible if we're just gonna muddy it up and muddle it all together starting here. This is where I want brightness. So what I'll do is I'll just go right on top of my blush, and sometimes I swipe, sometimes I pat, but I find sometimes if I swipe it'll rub off the makeup I already put down there. So I just like to pat. So I'm just patting that right underneath my under eye highlight, but mixing it in with my bronzer. So it's a little bit of both. It's like middle between your highlight and your contour. And it should look something like this. And then that's just how I blush. There's no mystery to that. Just make sure you don't come in. I mean, I guess you could come in all the way here, but it's just not flattering on me. So I lay it flat as opposed to like all in there. I just don't like the way that looks. Highlighter. You can use Smashbox bronzer. I'll use Smashbox Shimmer highlight. Why not? I'll use either the F35 or once again the Real Techniques one. They both work great for highlighting either underneath the eye to set concealer or along the cheekbone as my highlighter. So I'll just take some of that and I will run it right here on the very highest point of my cheek. And then I'll even take a brush. I'm just showing you like a lot of stuff right now. You can skip, remove, whatever you want with these steps. So I'm just showing you the full shebang. I'll even take it sometimes on an eyeshadow brush and I will run it on the other side of my eyebrow, like right here, because when you're facing like this way and the light hits it, it just looks really, really pretty and luminous, and it's really nice. It's beautiful. And I have really small temples, so I actually have to take a precision brush to get it to kind of create this little C shape right here. But I don't know if you guys can see, it just brings a nice light to that side of the face. And I'll take it down my nose, focusing it a little bit on the little tippy. I use so many brushes. This is ridiculous. I've said it before. I use a brush for everything. And I'll just take it right there on the very ball of my nose. And then I'll take a little bit and hit right above my Cupid's bow. That just makes your top lip look a little bit fuller. Some sort of setting spray. I like the Urban Decay All Nighter. They have the Chill and they also have D-Slick, but All Nighter is kind of my jam. You could take Fix Plus. That's also a good option, but I like this one because it sets my makeup, which means it takes all these powdered pigments that we just applied, kind of makes them meld and mush together and look a little bit more seamless on the skin. That's the whole point of it. And these particular ones, the Urban Decay by Scandinavia, they actually enhance and prolong the life of your makeup. So I'm gonna spray. Whew! Whew, girl. I needed that. I'm so stinking hot right now. Alright guys, that is our finished product. I hope that you enjoyed. I have got to get out the door and go meet my client. I hope this was helpful to you. Like I said before, I will probably be doing a in-depth cream contour and highlight video. So if you have any questions, leave them below and I will cover them in the next one. In the meantime, have an amazing day. I love you more than you will ever know, and I'll see you in my next video.